combining sports, music, and fashion. This is Fly Sports Talk with your host, Nelson Navarro.
What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Nelson Navarro. This is Fly Sports Talk, and welcome back. This is episode 6, and I know last week I said that I wasn't going to do an episode this week, but with everything that's been going on over the course of the weekend, between UFC 314, the NBA playoff bracket being set, the Devils clinching the 3rd seed, there's just so much going on. I just feel like I had to come on here, and I had to give y'all something. So here we go. First and foremost, you know we always got to get into the fit. And I went again with the St. Louis Cardinals 2006 World Series. I really like this hat. I like the way it looks. I like the way it's comfortable. I love the red. And I just love it. Gray bottom always. You know what time it is. On my shirt, Kith just did a collab with Peanuts for their 75th anniversary. So I got this Snoopy, Joe Cool, Kiss shirt on. And on my feet, always got some heat. Black cement 3s. You know, chill. Always got some heat on my feet. You don't even know what time it is. So, again, there's been so much going on this week in the sports world. But I feel like I have to start with UFC and UFC 314. My favorite fighter, Paddy the Baddy Pimblay, absolutely stole the show Saturday night. I know he was the co-main, and he wasn't the actual main fight. The main fight was between Alexander Ankalovsky and Diego Lopez. But listen, Paddy the Baddy went in there against Michael Chandler and absolutely whipped his ass. He completely dominated from round 1 all the way to round 3 until they stopped the fight. He caught him with that knee, and it completely gashed him. It caught Michael Chandler by surprise. And I honestly thought that Paddy the Baddy was going to win by submission. That was one of the bets that I had on my ticket Saturday night. But, hey, it is what it is. He got the TKO, and he actually established himself as one of the top contenders in the lightweight division. I think it's time to see Paddy the Baddy compete for a lightweight championship. And I honestly think that he can do it. The run that he's on right now, he's 9-1 in his last 10 fights. And he's just unstoppable. He's getting better and better and better each fight. And I think that it's his time. It's his time to shine. And he's really doing his thing. He called out a few fighters Saturday night. And one of them was Justin Gaethje. I think that's how you say his name. But yeah, one of them was Justin, and another one was somebody that I think that everyone wants to see him fight, and that's Charles Oliveira. I think that if that fight gets locked in, it'll probably be one of the most watched fights in a long time whenever it gets aired. A lot of people will say that it's too early for Paddy the Baddy to challenge or even look for that type of fight just yet. Because Charles Oliveira is a submission artist. But I think, honestly, I think if Paddy the Baddy can keep the fight on their feet and not on the mat, Paddy the Baddy got some hands too. I think a lot of people are underestimating Paddy's boxing ability and his actual fighting ability. He has gotten better throughout the course of his career with his hands, and that's something that people have to watch out for. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, how you guys feel about it. I honestly think that, again, it's time for Paddy the Baddy to continue to prove himself and to continue to climb the ladder and get up there and take the UFC world by storm. Now, in the other main event, Alexander Volkanovski, I said his name wrong earlier. Alexander Volkanovski became the featherweight champion after defeating Diego Lopez by decision in the 5th round. The fight went the distance, which I predicted on the same ticket that I had the Paddy the Baddy fight, but that's something we'll talk about later. The fight went the distance, went all 5 rounds, and Volky ultimately won by decision. he was clearly the better fighter. He landed the more significant strikes. Even though Diego Lopez definitely shown some signs throughout the fight and scored some points, but it was clear that Alexander Volkanovski was the better fighter, the more experienced fighter, having been a featherweight champion. Twice before already. He now retained his belt. He's at the top of the featherweight class, and he's the champ. Like I said, he ultimately landed more strikes and more significant strikes than Diego did. And like I said, we'll see who's gonna be the next challenger to face Volkanovski. I honestly don't think that he will defend his or retain his belt for very long. I'm not saying that he's not a good fighter. I just don't think that at his age and at the stage of his career that he can sustain and keep the belt for a long period of time. But again, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I don't know if you guys watched any of the undercards or anything, or saw any of the fighters when they were walking into the arena. But as I was watching, the undercard fights, they had showed Diego Lopez walking in. And although he had a tough time in the ring, at least he came in fly. He had a cowboy hat on, and he had this fire Kith South. It was a South 2 West 8 Kith collab, and they made these jackets. They made it in green and in tan or khaki, and they have like this tribal design over it, and they had deer heads with long antelopes. It was absolutely fire. Diego Lopez had the green one on, and it goes to show, a lot of UFC and a lot of fighters, period, do have some swag, and they got some style to them. So me, for the sake of the show, obviously, it was great for me to see that. I love that. Again, that Kith jacket was actually fire, and it is something, when it dropped, it's something that I actually thought about buying myself, but I never pulled the trigger on it. Life. But hey, I mean, again, he had it on that Saturday night. Again, his time in the ring wasn't as great as his fit was, but hey, at least he was fly when he came in. Now, shifting over to the NBA playoff brackets are set. Now, let me tell you guys, the Lakers are very, very, very lucky that the Warriors did not end up in the 6th seed, because I honestly think that the Warriors would have gave them a run for their money. I'm not saying that the Warriors would have beat them, but I am saying that it would have been a tougher series on the Lakers facing the Warriors than it is for them to face Minnesota. I honestly think they're going to beat Minnesota in 5 games. It'll be a gentleman's sweep, 4-1. With Luka, the team that the Lakers have right now, I believe that it's just too much for the Timberwolves to handle. You know what I mean? It's LeBron, Luka, and the rest of Austin Reeves and the rest of those guys that they have. Like I said, I just think it's too much for Minnesota to sustain a 7-game series against LA. I think LA is going to wrap this one up quick and win it in 5 and move on to the second round. Now, the Warriors have to play the play-in to make the playoffs. So we'll see how they do. I honestly do think they're going to make the playoffs as the 7th seed. So we'll see what's up coming in the next coming days. I believe there's no games on today or tonight. But the play-in, I believe, continues tomorrow night. So we'll see what happens with that. Now the Knicks draw the matchup against. They locked up the 3 seed, and they draw the matchup against the 6 seed in the Detroit Pistons. So that's another situation where I do think that the Knicks are going to come out on top. I do think, with the team that the Detroit Pistons have, and Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren, who averages a double-double, I do think that, they're going to kind of have, they're going to kind of put up a challenge for the Knicks. But again, we'll see how they do with that. I honestly don't know if the Pistons is another team that can sustain a 7-game series with the Knicks. The Knicks just have too much firepower. Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Cat. It's just too much. It's just too much for the Pistons. Even though the Pistons are kind of like a streaky team, they can get hot. But I don't think that, like I said, I don't think they're going to be able to go up against the team like the Knicks and win that series. Now, it is unfortunate for the Knicks to draw the seeding that they drew, because if and when they do defeat the Pistons in that series, they're going to have to come to Boston and play the Celtics. The Celtics will play the winner of the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic play-in. And I honestly don't see a challenge for the Celtics when it comes to either of those teams. The Celtics have been one of the best teams in the NBA all season long. Behind the Cavaliers, there's the second seed. The Cavs are the 1 seed. The NBA Eastern Conference goes through Cleveland. And I honestly do think it's going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. But again, going back to the first round, whatever team comes out of the play-in, whether it's Orlando or Atlanta, I see the Celtics either sweeping that series or either another gentleman sweep, winning 5-1. The Celtics are just too much for either of those teams. Kristaps Porzingis, Jason Tatum, the whole lineup, we just, top to bottom, we're just a better team than any of those teams. And again, we'll have to see the Knicks in round 2, if they do come out and win that series. Again, I do think they will come out and win that series against the Pistons. So it's going to be fun. This NBA playoffs looks to be a great time. A lot of the other matchups, I look forward to. I look forward to that Denver Nuggets Clippers matchup. I believe that's going to be a great series. It's going to be a tough series. And also that Indiana-Milwaukee matchup too. Those are 2 series in the East and the West that I feel that it can go either way. Those 2 teams are evenly matched with each other. The way the Clippers have been playing, going down the stretch, they are on fire right now. Kawhi is playing at a different level at the moment in time, so they're hot going into the playoffs. So watch for them to have a good playoff series against the Nuggets. Don't be surprised if the Clippers do end up beating the Nuggets in that series. I even know a lot of people would take my head off for that statement because of Jokic or whatever. But listen, that time has come and passed already. And, the Nuggets are not the same team they were 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So, again, don't be surprised if the Clippers can come out of that series and beat them. And now going back to the East, when it comes to Indiana and Milwaukee, I honestly do not have a clue what team is going to come out of that series. I barely watched either of those teams play this year. I don't know. I know what players are on each team and what they're capable of doing. But when it comes to as like a team standpoint, I don't know who I give the edge to. Maybe, just because Milwaukee has Giannis, maybe that could be a difference. But they're not. Again, that's another team that's not the same. They have Giannis and Damian Lillard, and you would think that going into the playoffs, that team would probably dominate. But we just haven't seen it. And it's something that to keep an eye on. I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if the Pacers. I'm sorry, I don't know if the Bucks can prove to the rest of the league that they are a different team with Damian Lillard in the lineup and that they're better. So it's something to see. It's something that we have to wait and see, right? Also, be on the lookout, too, for the playoffs. You guys know that during the pregame shows for the NBA, they always look at players entering the arena, and they always check out their fits. So we will be judging pregame fits throughout the playoffs and going over them on weekly episodes. So be on the lookout for that. Also, you guys can come in and join, too. I would love for you guys to join in on the ratings when it comes to that, and to be engaged with the show. Leave comments on the YouTube, and comment on Instagram and stuff like that. We'll have polls and stuff. So I'm going to try to do a lot of different things with this show when it comes to the fashion standpoint of it. I'm going to try to do a lot more when it comes to the fashion standpoint of it, to be really honest. So that's one of the things that I want to do. I want to judge pregame fits for the NBA playoffs as they show them on the pregame shows before the games start. Now, Bozo of the Week. We got to keep this going. So, Bozo of the Week goes out this week to Mr. Covington. Kobe Covington, after the fight, was seen interrupting a post-fight interview between a platform and Paddy the Baddy, saying that you get no respect. The guy was 2-6. He was 2-6. He was 2-6. Sir Covington, you're 2-4 in your last 6. You have yet to have a statement win in your last, I want to say, 8 to 10 fights. I don't know what you think you were doing at that point, stepping to or trying to step to Paddy the Baddy after he just whooped Michael Chandler's ass. That was means of getting Bozo of the Week for me. Like, what are you thinking, bro? Like, there's no... And even if right now, even if you tried to challenge Paddy the Baddy will put the paws on you. He will beat the brakes off you. Like, I don't even understand. Like, it's not even a competition right now. Like, at the point in time that Paddy the Baddy is in his career, there's no reason why Covington should even think about stepping to somebody like Paddy the Baddy. Because, again, if he steps in the octagon with Paddy, he's going to get his ass whooped. So, Bozo of the Week, Cody Covington, there you go. You're a dumb. That was just bad. Like, I don't even know what you thought you were doing there. Like, there was just no point in that. So, there you go. So, the Devils have clinched the 3rd seed in the playoffs and will face the Carolina Hurricanes in the first round. Just to let y'all know. Fly Sports Talk will have boots on the ground. That's hockey terms for we will be in the building. We will be at round 1, game 3 for Devils Hurricanes at the Rock in Newark at the Prudential Center. I'm going to be doing a vlog of that day from when I get to the arena, standing outside, pre-gaming and everything with my friends, and just having a good time. I'm going to show you our experience there. At the games, whenever we do go to the game, it's a great time. We always have fun. So just be on the lookout for that vlog. The playoff schedule should actually be going out within the next couple days. Probably going to be out Friday. The season ends Thursday, so we'll see when Game 3 will actually be. Hopefully, it'll be a good time. So again, look out for the vlog. Round 1, Game 3. Fly Sports Talk and friends will be there. We will be in the building, and also we're trying to get. We're looking at tickets, if possible, if the Devils can push it that far, for Game 6. So, or if it goes that far, we are also trying to be in the building for Game 6. That will also be vlogged because that's going to be an even better experience. So I'm not going to say much more. Fingers crossed. So we're in the process of doing that also. So for the second time in 3 years, the Devils will face the Carolina Hurricanes in the playoffs. And with the return of Dougie Hamilton to the lineup for the playoffs and getting back a huge piece of their defensive core, Devils fans have to feel good going to the playoffs. Well, at least a little bit better going into the playoffs when it comes to that, and having Dougie Hamilton back. I know that the Carolina Hurricanes are facing some injuries. In Jesper Kotkaniemi, Jordan Martinook, and Shane Gostisbehere. And they also have Jesper Foss that's still on long-term IR. I don't think he's going to be back for the playoffs. So that gives another slither of optimism for the Devils and their fans going into the series. And we already know what happened last time. The Devils lost 4-1. They were pushed around, and it was just a bad experience just even watching it. So I could imagine how they felt as players being a part of that. Excuse me. But this year, the Devils have some goaltending, and their defense is a little bit better than it was that season 2 years ago when they played Carolina. So we'll see how they do. I believe that I honestly don't know if the Devils can win this series, to be very, very honest with you. Obviously, I would love for them to win the series and move on. PK Subban actually did a segment on ESPN for the NHL, and he actually picked the Devils to win this series 4-2. So his argument was that, the Hurricanes are facing a lot of injuries right now, and they're just not the same team going down the stretch. They have been struggling a little bit going down the stretch. The Devils, despite Jack Hughes going down, they do look like they are still battling, and they have, to be really honest, they have been playing a lot better. And they won a lot of games going down the stretch without Jack Hughes. So it's just, something to keep an eye out, to look out for. I think that this is going to be a great series between these two teams. I wonder if, hopefully the Devils can show something different and show that they are ready for this and that they want to go further into the playoffs, because it seems like, me being a Devils fan and knowing how they play, it seems like whenever they get down or whenever something bad happens, it's shutdown mode for the team. So, and that's something that, never want to happen. So, I mean, it's something that that's another thing to keep a look out for, and to keep an eye on. So, that with that being said, I think that the rest of the playoffs will also be a great time. The series that are set up are great matchups going into the stretch. Going down the stretch, though, look for Columbus. And Columbus and Montreal are battling for the last spot in the wild card. I think Columbus is 3 points out with 2 games left, and Montreal only has 1 game left. So that's something to keep an eye on. If Montreal loses tonight, their chances of being bumped out and Columbus being going in are very, very high. So we will see what happens with that. Also, like I said, we will have boots on the ground for Game 3. So be on the lookout for that vlog. Now, moving on. The Mets have the best team ERA in baseball. So, I just wanted to put that out there. We have the best team ERA. We have the best bullpen ERA. That's something that a lot of us Mets fans were shook about going into the season. We didn't know how the pitching was going to be. We didn't know how the bullpen was going to be. So that was something that we were very on the fence about. But let me tell you guys, the Mets, it took a few games, but the Mets looked like the team that we all predicted them to be. They're hitting. Oh, and by the way, at one point, the Polar Bear was leading OPS, was leading the MLB in OPS, but he is in 4th right now. He's dropped down a little bit. Aaron Judge actually leads the league in OPS at the moment, but I'm pretty sure that will change. So, like I was saying, the Mets are currently 10-5, leading the NL East, and are 3rd in the entire National League behind the Padres and I believe San Francisco. Yes, San Francisco, which that is a surprise to me. Going from last year to this year, San Francisco completely turned it around. They look like a really, really good baseball team right now. But it is, the beginning of the season. There's a lot of baseball left to be played. So that's something to keep an eye out. But again, going back to the Mets, They look like one of the best teams in the MLB currently at the moment. But again, we're only 15 games in. There's a lot of baseball left to be played. Hopefully the Mets can sustain, these performances and this type of baseball going throughout the entire season. And hopefully, they're one of the teams that are contending for a World Series at the end of the year. Right now they look very, very good. They're playing really good baseball, so that's something to keep an eye out. Fly Sports Talk I will also be at a Mets game within the next couple weeks, and that will also be vlogged. My father and I, we got tickets to one of the games last week. The game that got moved from 7 p.m. to 4 p.m. we had tickets for, and we couldn't make it. So for the fact that we didn't make it and we didn't give them to anybody, the Mets actually gave us a voucher for any Monday through Thursday game between April and May. So I believe we're shooting for a White Sox game. It's during the week. I just forgot the actual date, but I know for a fact that it's in May. So that's one of the games that we're shooting for. And also the Mets. I will also be vlogging that day because my dad actually wants to take the train in. Something that he's never done before is take the train to Citi Field or Shea Stadium and have that experience. So I'm going to be vlogging that whole experience from our bus rides into the city, getting on the 7 train and getting all the way to Citi Field in Queens. Guys, I want to address, before I go, I want to address something that is very, very important. Over the weekend, former LSU cornerback football star Kyron Lacey took his own life, I believe Saturday night in Houston. Lacey was believed to be involved in a police chase, and allegedly he ran his car and purposely crashed his car to take his own life. Listen, fellas, this is for the fellas. If whatever you're going through, whatever it is, please talk to somebody. Speak up. Don't sit with that pain. Don't sit with that hurt and let it take over you and let it take over your mind. Please talk to somebody. Please seek help. Get it out. It's better to cry on somebody's shoulder than to, be gone from this earth and leave your family and your friends, people that actually care about you that you probably don't think care about you. So please, fellas, speak up. Whatever you're going through, talk and express yourselves. It's okay to express your feelings. Don't resort to that. That is the last thing that us as men and us as human beings, for that matter, should resort to. But yeah, guys, that has been my show.
I really feel like I count faster than a
Thank you for coming. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate each and every one of you.
Is designed, it's built to count. But
Yo, Al, I need you to tell me your size for that gear. I'm gonna talk to Replay Threads and see what they got as far as New England Patriots gear goes. And also Replay Threads, shout out to them. I always gotta shout out Replay Threads. There's actually a couple pieces that I picked up from them the other day. A couple Cowboys shirts. They took care of me. Also too, they showed me a couple hats that I'm interested in. Guys, please go and give them a shout. Shop with Replay Threads for all your vintage needs. Again, that has been my show. Love y'all. Peace. Tough decision, sleeping in a Pistons locker room. I'm on another mission. K Cunningham, let this Crocs. Yeah, fuck you.